Good morning, good evening, whoever you are, wherever you are, whatever you might be doing. We wish to welcome you to the Silverlight Show. The Silverlight shines to illuminate that which lies hidden in darkness. For those of you tuning in, we welcome you in. I've been really contemplating lately about the lessons life has to offer. And for most people, their life tends to follow into the same basic pattern. You start off basically as a student, where you have to learn everything. You develop into the young prodigy. Before you know it, you're the seasoned veteran, and then twilight must fall. Even for people in office roles, this is the same pretty much no matter wherever you go. Now, as a youth, as a student, we've all been there. You're learning. Whether this covers your educational years or if you're an apprentice, someone who's learning, what do you call them again? Not apprentices, but interns. And there's plenty of titles where your job is basically to sit there, learn definitely the basics of life, and learn how to execute them consistently. Overall, it's a challenging phase, but it's a short one. Then you graduate, or your superiors notice you, and you get promoted to the youthful ingenue, the young blood that's coming in, full of fire and talent. And that's where you stand. You're the person that's always saying, "Hey, what about this? I can see this alternative." Blah blah blah. You've you've still got plenty of energy, plenty of ideas, but you have people with experience around you who are going to guide that and use it. For a lot of my life, I was considered that prodigy. And then somewhere comes, maybe again you're promoted, or maybe just simply you've been there long enough, you become the veteran. Now, if you've made it here with the same people, and it's hard to just start off and be the veteran, you're looked to as a source of leadership. Might not be in your contract, but they're looking at you like that. They're bringing you in because they sense you're going to lead a team and give them some stability. Because youthful prodigies can be a little high strung. I certainly was. But then when I got older, I got more mature. And then when you start getting towards your twilight, this is when things they really sink in. You start having to take orders from people younger than you. A lot of people can't do this, and it's probably the origin of a lot of those Karen stories that are on the internet. They just don't want to listen to people who are younger or perceived as younger and less experienced. I didn't have that attitude. Well, I'm not going to lie. There's a couple times I thought, what does this person know? I have more experience than they'll ever have. And then I started realizing it's not my place to decide such things. They've been promoted for a reason. It's my job to respect them. And they, in return, provided me with the same respect. But it's a real difference because in all the other phases, you're being set up to be a leader, or at least to be considered a leader, someone to be looked up to, someone who's reliable. And then in the twilight, you're beyond the veteran category, so you're now just doing your job. Whereas before, they would give you all sorts of side projects and everything. You're just sitting there plunking away the same spreadsheets, the same information, sending the same workers, and you know what? For a lot of people, that's okay. And for a lot of people, that's the end of your career. You ain't going further. Now, there's something to be learned. While you're coming up, you're supposed to be learning. But when you're a veteran and in the twilight, your job is to keep things going. If you love training, good. Keep doing it. I kind of got burned out on training, but I found my love for it again. This one company that I work for from, well, in the basically the 2000 to 2010 period, they had me do all their training. And at one point, after a few years, it was just like, can I please have, I don't mind doing the training, but can I please have at least one person on my staff that has been trained and I can keep them going, because that'll take a lot of stress off me if I can have a break every couple nights knowing that person is in. Oh, we'll see what we can do. Always the same answer. But now that I'm well beyond that, I don't mind training again. It's become my role as in the twilight. A lot of people don't understand what a gift it is to be there where a company trusts you to train people, and not everybody is suited to it. You're going to say a lot of things, a lot of times, over and over. And the key is to say it in an avuncular fashion. What does avuncular mean? It means like an uncle. Everybody had the friendly uncle. Hopefully not the too friendly uncle, but the friendly uncle who was, going to take you out fishing or to the carnival, whatever it might be. But you still learned a lesson while you were with them. And you're taking orders from people that you trained. I have considered that a bonus. I trained you that well, that you know the systems so well, and you've grown up and, well, you've surpassed me in this capacity. It makes me very happy. I could be the opposite. I trained this guy. He's ahead of me. What's wrong with me? Nope. I'm cool with that. Because, Silverlight is always cool with everything. It's hard, though. And I can see why people get bitter when they've been in the same job doing the same thing for too long. I know a guy who he retired, and about not even a month later, like almost no time passed, and he came back to work. Now, this man had a wife and a family and everything, and he was quite comfortable. I don't know if he was, stupid rich, but he certainly wasn't poor. And the funny part was when he came back, he didn't get back his old manager position. He came back on the night shift, and basically he was sitting there supposedly helping another even older gentleman, but basically he just sat around and earned a paycheck because he didn't know what else to do with his life. Again, this is where I think people miss out. We are blessed with opportunities in 2024. And to lock yourself into a job, yes, some careers do require a kind of 24/7 availability. If you're a public defender, yeah, you got to be available any time of the day or night. If you're a police officer, if you're certain kinds of technician, and doctors, you never know when a doctor's going to get a call. Your patient is here, X happened, you need to get down there right away. And that's a job that you chose to be in. But even people like that have hobbies. It gives them meaning outside of work. And if you don't develop those hobbies, those other interests, I don't care what it is, building a railroad set in your basement, no disgrace to that. I've seen some of those railroad sets, and they are just polished to perfection. There's this one guy, and his hobby is he sticks a camera in storm drains. And he actually finds fish and stuff swimming down there. Not a bad hobby. You're outside, you're walking, you're getting fresh air. But these are people who just log on to TikTok, which I personally don't like, Instagram, or any of those. And you're going to find these people that have weird and unusual hobbies. They're not, well, most of them are not getting paid a single penny for their involvement, but they're still doing it because they love to do it. So, when you go through your stages of your life and career, don't forget to stop and smell the roses, and maybe take a couple seeds from those roses and plant them in your own garden, as in the garden of your mind. Let them grow so that when your job goes away, and it's gonna go away one way or the other, you have something to work with. One of my favorite workers, this man was amazing. His hobby was making money. And how he did that, I don't know all the details, but he was driving a truck, and the area he was in was primarily industrial. And he knew everybody in the area. He sold those First Nations repackaged cigarettes. He would drop off pallets, and this way, can you take those pallets away from us? Yeah, sure, no problem. He'd go 2 doors down, 3 doors down, whatever it is. Hey, you guys looking to buy pallets today? Yeah, here they are, $10 each. He'd make money there. He'd sell his cigarettes. Every single thing. He knew what to do. And I'm not going to say he was rich, but the same token, he showered every day. He wasn't fat by any stretch, but he was well fed. The man wasn't starving. And I'm pretty sure he drove a nice car. You know what happened to him? Came to me one day and he said, "Oof, my leg is hurting, Silverlight. Um, can you do me a favor and just give me some time? I'm gonna do my stuff today and just try not to make me lift too many heavy things. Don't give me any hand bombs," is what he said, but I'm translating. And I said, "Yeah, no problem. If I send you something, because you know the customers, let me know." Off he goes. It's the last time I ever saw him. He went to his doctor, and his body was just beyond stage 4 cancer, just riddled with it. And he had done his hobby. He had everything he ever wanted on the weekend. He was, a beer and scotch man, smoking away and stuff like that. He had a life. And he didn't die on the job, although that has happened. But you're never on the clock when you're dying. So remember, don't make your last moments be filled with thoughts about work. The old saying goes, nobody ever perished while thinking they wish they'd spent more time in the office. And I'll tell you, Cowboy, he worked from about 7 o'clock in the morning till about 5 o'clock at night. Pretty reasonable hours in trucking terms. And he made money. He had his wife, and he at least had enjoyment outside of work. So he was never like, "Oh, that's for me, that's my proportion." Other drivers would argue over all sorts of stuff. Cowboy was pretty chill about it. And that's the way people should be. I know that's not the way people are. I'm saying that's the way they should be. With that, we hope you enjoyed this episode of the Silverlight Show. If you did, please like, share, because sharing is caring. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, please subscribe. This bell thing, I don't know what's going on with it, but just, click the notifications to be notified. That kind of thing. And we hope you have a fantastic day.